they're focusing on those crack pipes, but a safe smoking kit sounds like horse to me. What about a safe shooting up kit? What about a safe snorting kit? Why aren't you doing all of them then? Why aren't you doing all of them? Because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of problems. Why don't we do a safe opioid kit? Or what's the opioid kit going to be? How are we going to do a safe opioid kit? How's the government going to cover safe opioid use? You going to talk to the opioid companies? It's all bullshit, man. It's all horse shit. Everything's horse shit. Do you guys really think that Biden's giving out crack pipes? I remember seeing a story like a year ago, and it was a documentary called the Fight for the City of Seattle, or the fight for your city, the fight for the heart of your city. And it was a documentary on how the city of Seattle decided to battle their heroin epidemic that they had going on at the time, and they still have going on more recently. They were giving out needles. Now, I didn't quite believe that the government would be doing something like this. And this is why I need to preface the Joe Biden story with the Seattle story, because Seattle gave out needles. My cousin lives in Seattle, and he would tell me he couldn't even go to the gym without seeing used needles outside of the gym by the garbage can. When he would go grocery shopping, I don't know why drug addicts do their drugs by garbage cans, large garbage cans, but every time he would go to the grocery store, there would be some type of a junkie and heroin needles near the garbage cans. And you can't escape it. Everywhere throughout Seattle, you see a lot of the same type of stuff. So now we have Joe Biden putting this out as it's been kind of a national story for the past few days. And I wanted to get into it because if that is true, there's two ways that people try to handle these types of things. And I don't necessarily believe that that's the best way to handle it if they're enabling. You don't want to enable. If you enable, you're making it worse on people. So, and that's the problem with the whole Seattle thing, is they're trying to be very nice and be supportive and have a very, very enabling type attitude towards it. Because, I mean, if you one of your family members are morbidly obese, which means they're going to die if they don't lose weight, you want to motivate them to not eat detrimental food that is going to make them stay that size. You want them to shrink down. So you don't want to enable them to eat McDonald's. You don't want to enable them to eat their sugar. You want to be firm with them and say, I love you. No, you cannot have this. That's the way to get people off drugs. That's the way. Not being nice and then giving them their supplies. Now let's get into it. Now let's see if Joe Biden actually is going to be giving out crack pipes, or if is that a little bit of propaganda, and is it believable propaganda? Because we know that certain cities and certain states are actually doing that. So I wanted to do a little bit of research first, and the first thing that I found was a story from a couple of days ago. Biden admin to send crack pipes to drug addicts to advance racial equality. And, you know, I don't know what the whole to advance racial equality thing is, but that sounds like this might be a right-wing-ish news source, and they might be trying to push things a little bit in their own direction. The Biden administration will soon fund the distribution of crack pipes to drug addicts in underserved communities for the purpose of advancing racial equality, the Washington Free Beacon reported. What are the details? The baffling measure is included in the Department of Health and Human Services fiscal year. Oh, shit. I'm knocking everything over. Whoopsies. But a spokesman for the department recently... Okay, let's see. The baffling measure is included in the Department of Health Services fiscal year 2022 harm reduction program grant. In the document, the crack pipe plan is described as the dispersion of federal government funds for the slightly more anodyne smoking kits supplies. Anodyne, what's that mean? Anodyne. Not likely to provoke dissent or offense. There we go. But a spokesman for the department recently told the Washington Beacon that the grant money will do exactly what the headline says it will do. The distributed kits will provide safer pipes for drug addicts to use when they smoke crack cocaine, crystal methamphetamine, or any illicit substance. The spokesman repeatedly explained that the supplied pipes will reduce users' chances of becoming infected. Where's the balance here now? Smoking crack's obviously very bad, and you don't want them doing that, but you don't want them to get some type of infection if they are participating in the illegal acts. So you want them to be as safe as possible. Obviously, I wouldn't want any of my family members passing away from any type of a drug overdose or an infection coming from the drug use prior. So I understand where it's coming from, but it seems like it's going to exacerbate the problem. It would exacerbate the problem. The spokesman reportedly explained that the supplied pipes will reduce users' chances of becoming infected. Glass pipes, often used by addicts, can sometimes lead to infections through cuts and sores. The grant program, worth almost $30 million, closed applications on Monday and will begin providing the funds to nonprofit and local government recipients in May. The Free Beacon reported that applicants for the grant money will be prioritized for the selection. They promise to use the funds in underserved communities, including where there are large African American and LGBTQ populations, as established under the Joe Biden's executive order on advancing racial equality and support for underserved communities. So in order to serve the underserved communities, we are going to serve you with more crack pipes so that you can continue on with your life of crack pipe smoking. Smoking out of crack pipes, crack smoking, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't sound very good. Does not sound very good. With the order issued in January, Biden sent in motion a comprehensive approach to advancing equity for all, including people of color and others who have been historically underserved, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality. And if we could actually, in order to properly serve people who have been marginalized, adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality, you have to do a certain research. You have to do specific research on their families. Because if you just look at their skin color, that only tells you about their skin color. That doesn't tell you about their family's history. That just tells you the skin color. So it's funny how it all kind of goes into these weird directions, and they try to use these in order to get their political points so that they can get whatever they want. It's not like, I don't believe that they want to help anybody. I don't think they want to help the underserved communities. I don't think they want to help the overserved communities. I think they want to help themselves. So let's continue on. What else? Other equipment that qualifies for funding in the grant includes harm reduction vending machines, infectious disease testing kits, safe sex kits, syringes, vaccination services, and wound care management supplies. The program has up to $29,250,000 in anticipated available funding and estimates the distribution of 25 awards of up to $400,000 per award over the next 3 years, which is a lot of funding for these types of things. And I would hope that it would help in all of the pandemics, epidemics that we have now, which is a crack epidemic, which is a heroin epidemic, which is an opioid epidemic, which is for some reason we're not talking about, and we don't talk about, but there are so many people dying. So many people dying, but they're dying in small towns. I guess no one gives a shit. Continuing on. The Free Beacon noted that Democrat-run cities, all politics, such as San Francisco and Seattle, have similarly distributed smoking kits to residents, but have backed away from such programs in recent years over concerns that they enable drugs. Maybe. Sergeant Clyde Boatwright, president of Maryland Fraternal Order of Police, told the outlet government resources should be used to prevent illegal drug use rather than aim to make it safer. If we look at more of a preventative campaign as opposed to an enabling campaign, I think it will offer an opportunity to have safer communities with fewer people who are dependent on these substances. And the hard part is we need to look at the numbers and see if we are actually enabling people and encouraging them to keep using, or by enabling them to survive a little bit longer, will they be able to seek treatment and everything that they need to get better? It doesn't seem like it. It seems like the treatment needs to be getting off of it at a rehab facility. That seems where, like, in my opinion, I would want to put them into rehab facilities and have these people there and keep them distracted. You can't just keep feeding them alcohol and think that they're going to get off the alcohol. It's like, that's crazy to me. If you want an alcoholic to quit drinking, you don't give them beers every day. And now, obviously, if you are a legitimate alcoholic, you could die if you get off of it. So you have to wean yourself off. But it's not making it easier for you to do that. You have to work and slowly, progressively get yourself off of it. Wean yourself off of it. And that's not easy. It's not easy. That's why rehab facilities are huge, and they help so much. But that's the end of that article. Now that one kind of paints it in a bad light, and it makes it seem that, like, okay, what the hell is actually going on over here? What in the actual hell is actually going on with this? Because I don't know if I believe all that. Now, we're going to head on over here. Now here's the Seattle story. And now this is what has been going on for Seattle for the past couple of years. Seattle Public Health will give needles to minors. Community pushes back. A needle exchange, and now you can see here's a needle exchange of teenagers. A community activist in Federal Way took photos of SCORE distributing syringes at a park and ride lot to teenagers. Not a good look, though, guys. Not a good look. And that's the government. Surprise. So surprise. Needle exchange programs from Public Health, Seattle, and King County hand out needles to any drug addict who asks. That includes minors, no matter their age. They'll even hand deliver it to them at their home or in a public parking lot. Jason Rant's show of KTTH learned that the county needle exchange programs don't even have written rules for when they interact with minors. So you just give them whatever. You don't even ask any questions. A Federal Way woman says she witnessed a teen as young as 16 receive needles from South County Outreach Referral Exchange, SCORE. He then proceeded to shoot up. Now, thanks to a group of community activists, the spotlight is focused on how SCORE and public health operates. And that right there, man. Can't go too deep into this because it's still going on. And this isn't quite what the video is about, but there's a lot of problems out there, guys, and it doesn't seem that enabling and making it easier for people to do drugs that are going to kill them in the long run. We don't want to do that. We have to find a way to make it to where we can get them off of it. But how do we get them off of it? I know it's fucking hard, man. It's hard. It's so hard. This shit grips you and it will not let go. And your brain cannot let it go. This shit is hard to get off. So you're trying to find any type of solution, any type of way. I could understand that. You want to experiment with different strategies to try to see if you can be successful. But enabling just seems like the most obvious answer is not the case. Seems like it. I sat there and I took some pictures of people walking up to the SCORE's van. It's like they all just appeared. Ken told Jason Rant's show on KTTH. I think a bus might have come and dropped them off. One guy came with a bike. I didn't see what they were actually doing. They were getting stuff and they walked away with these bags of stuff. And SCORE went to 3 different locations. So they even have vans that'll go out, give out needles and everything. So Seattle is obviously having problems. Baltimore has had a similar problem, but they kind of kiboshed that because they didn't want people enabling them. So now we know that this is a possibility. We do know that this is a strategy for certain governments to do. Now, is the Biden administration really in actuality, are they really doing that? Now, that's what I want to get to, because you always see different information from here, there, here, there, blah, blah, blah. And just recently now, I've seen a few more articles explaining a little bit more in depth so we can get a little bit more information, and then we'll try to make our conclusions as we go. All right. And all right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, ABC 10. Now we're gonna go by ABC 10, guys. ABC 10. No, the Biden administration is not funding the distribution of crack pipes, because crack pipes is so much worse than needles. It's all bad, man. It's all bad. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Wednesday that reporting about crack pipes being put into safe smoking kits is inaccurate, but there is something called a safe smoking kit being given out from the government to help you smoke crack safer. President Joe Biden speaks about counterterrorism raid carried out by the U.S. After the application deadline for 2 federal grant programs aimed at decreasing harm for drug users passed, many Twitter users, including Senator Tom Cotton and conservative media outlets such as the Washington Free Beacon, claimed that the President Joe Biden's administration would put $30 million of funding into the distribution of crack pipes and safe smoking kits. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, a branch of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, announced in December 2021 that it was accepting applications for the first ever SAMHSA Harm Reduction Grant Program. The agency said it is expected to issue $30 million in grants and awards, which isn't really that much money in the grand scheme of things. Viewer Kendra texted verify to ask if Biden is creating a $30 million program to distribute crack pipes. The question, is the Biden administration funding distribution of crack pipes? The source's statement from Health and Human, all these different things, the grant programs and stuff. The answer is no. The Biden administration is not funding distribution of crack pipes, but they are distributing safe needles, which doesn't seem any better. HHS and other federal representatives say crack pipes are not being added to safe smoking kits, but there are safe smoking kits, guys. There are safe smoking kits. Distributed in any other way as a part of harm reduction efforts. What we found, funding for the harm reduction grant program is authorized by the Biden administration American Rescue Plan. According to the SAMHSA, applications from state and local governments, tribal organizations, nonprofits, and behavioral health organizations, among others, were due Monday, February 7th. A 75-page government document outlining information about the grant program says funds may be used to purchase equipment and supplies to enhance harm reduction efforts, including safe smoking kits and supplies. Harm reduction strategies minimize negative consequences of drug use. They're trying to help people live longer, even if they are on drugs. Which, at a certain point, there are some people that you kind of have to do that with because they ain't getting off. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the safe smoking kits may include alcohol swabs. Ooh, you want to clean those crack pipes. Lip balm, because I don't know why. I mean, whatever. And other materials to promote hygiene and reduce the transmission of diseases such as HIV and hepatitis. I guess they cut their lips when they're smoking and stuff like that. I mean, that makes sense. Claims that federal funding would support the distribution of crack pipes in those safe smoking kits are false, including the multiple representatives for the federal government. In a joint statement released on Wednesday, HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra and the Office of National Drug Control Policy Director Rahul Gupta, MD, said in that part no federal funding will be used directly or through subsequent reimbursement of grantees to put pipes in safe smoking kits. So they are not going to, they're focusing on those crack pipes, but a safe smoking kit sounds like horseshit to me. What about a safe shooting up kit? What about what about a safe snorting kit? Why aren't you doing all of them then? Why aren't you doing all of them? Because there's a lot of people out there with a lot of problems. Why don't we do a safe opioid kit? Or what's the opioid kit going to be? How are we going to do a safe opioid kit? How's the government going to cover safe opioid use? You going to talk to the opioid companies? It's all bullshit, man. It's all horseshit. Everything's horseshit. It's all horseshit. Those are worse drugs than you get on half the drugs on the streets. Ain't even as bad as those drugs that you can get from the opioids. And those babies are designed to get your ass down. And I'm not saying that there's no use for them. Obviously there is. But it's so easy to take advantage of it. It's so easy to be taken advantage of it. I think that a lot of people are taking advantage of the drug industry. I think they are. And I know that that's a hot take. I know that's such a hot take because nobody's ever said that before. But, I mean, come on, man. Like I'm sitting over here talking about shit that we all know is real. We all know what the reality is. But yet you watch TV and you try to act like, oh, okay, well, whatever they saying is true. It's not. It's all horseshit, guys. It's all horseshit. Psaki also addressed the claims about crack pipes being put in safe smoking kits during the Wednesday press briefing. They were never part of the kit. It was inaccurate reporting, and we wanted to put out the information to make it clear. She added that it is not a change in policy, and federal authorities instead wanted to provide clarification on the allowable uses for the HHS harm reduction program. The Washington Free Beacon article states that the spokesperson of HHS said safe smoking kits will provide pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal methamphetamine, and any illicit substance. HHS told Verify in an email that this is inaccurate. Safe smoking kits are not only harm reduction materials that grant recipients will be able to purchase. The document outlining the program also lists vending machines, testing kits for HIV, and other infectious diseases. Medication, lock boxes, overdose, reversal medication, huge. That's fucking huge. I have family members who would be alive today if we had one of those. So that's huge. Safe sex kits. Can't be mad about that. Can't be mad about that. Can't be mad about medication lock boxes. Can't be mad about testing for HIV and other infectious diseases. Infectious disease screening. Can't be mad about that. Sharps and medication disposal kits. I guess you got to do that. I don't know. Fentanyl test strips. Syringes to prevent and control spread of infectious diseases, and vaccination services. Man, it's a dirty world out there, though, guys. What more can we do? So we learned that it's not literally. They're not literally putting the crack pipes in.
During these uncertain times, but your taxes shouldn't be one of them. The experts at SH Block Tax are
okay. But the thing is, they may not be giving out crack pipes. I don't think that they would be that foolish enough to let one of their things do that. But I do believe that a lot of the problems that we have is because we do enable people, and we are a lot harder on people, especially people that you care about, because you know that you care about people and you know that they have a problem, but what do you do about it? What do you do about it? Normally, a lot of people don't try to get them help. They just enable them and continue on, and then say, hopefully one day they're going to get better. But you have to sit down and have a conversation, and you have to make sure that they're not living in their own hell, because a lot of people are, and a lot of people don't want to be doing that every single day. And the bottom line to all of this is we can talk about the politics, and I just did. I talked about the politics. Right wing says they're putting crack pipes in there. Left wing says, no, they're not. At the end of the day, the human says, let's try not to be addicted to these drugs that are going to make us freaking want to die faster, or will make us die faster. because these are taking, not only does it destroy your life, it destroys the people around you's life as well, especially if you're a parent. A lot of parents do have these problems, and all they want is to live a normal, clean life, and they do not know how to do that. They do not know how to even start that process. So let's start helping people start that process, because you have to want to clean up first. If you don't want to help clean up, surely you're going to get one of these easier to make kits, easy for me to smoke kits. Let's make sure that I'm smoking safely kits and continue on with my life instead of buckling down and cleaning up. And that is way harder done than it is said. And I understand that. It is way harder to clean up. Especially if you have people around you encouraging you to do the opposite. So guys, let's not enable our people to hurt themselves. Let's encourage them to help themselves.